So I'm back from Vietnam, and this video is going to be a kind of versus between Korea and Vietnam. These are just 5 things that I chose. Of course, they're both individual countries. They both have their pros and their cons. So these just happen to be the 5 categories that I picked. And I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below on categories you would have chosen for this video. Okay, so let's get into it. First category, food. Korean food is delicious and actually pretty good for you too. You know, kimbap, bibimbap, mandu, seaweed and everything. Like, y'all know how much I love Korean food. However, I have kind of noticed that after being here for a year and a half that Korean food is kind of repetitive, especially the street food I find. So for example, the street food here where I live is pretty much the same in the middle of Seoul. It's pretty much the same in Busan. And they pretty much offer the exact same things at every single stall. It's some kind of deep fried like fish paste batter, corn dogs, tteokbokki. These things are all really delicious, but after a while you do kind of wish that you could get a different kind of street food. Whereas Vietnamese food, it was all amazing. I mean, like, blow you out of the water. Holy crap, I cannot believe that everything I had eaten is all that good. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, for example, my boyfriend and I went into the countryside to visit his family. There's something so radical about watching them catch the shrimp in their backyard farm where they're growing crabs and shrimp for like their livelihood, and then watching them catch it and cook it right in front of your eyes. Like, talk about fresh. Not to mention that they were huge, like this big, crabs this big. I mean, I've never had more delicious seafood. I've also never had more fresh fruit than I've had in Vietnam. There's so much variety: dragon fruit, passion fruit, durian. I literally saw a jackfruit growing outside of Tom's grandmother's house and was like, oh, can we pick that? Is it ripe? Next morning, there's the jackfruit ready for us to open up, sitting on the counter, and we just had to open it up and separate it out so that we could all eat it for like breakfast. I tried so many different kinds of food too. I had ostrich, I ate crickets. Even in their street food, like, it seemed like every single person that we saw was selling something different. I'm gonna have to give the food category to Vietnam, solely because of their just sheer freshness of their ingredients and also variety. Category number 2, public transportation. I love Korea's public transportation. It's fantastic. I mean, we're talking the subways, you can take buses. I mean, you can literally get from Seoul to Busan in 3 hours by taking the train. Like, their public transportation here is astounding and really cheap. Taxis here are way cheaper than in the States. When I went to Vietnam, I noticed first that everybody has their own scooter. Like, pretty much everybody has their own scooter. And I noticed that there were buses, but it seemed like the buses were pretty much empty most of the time. So I asked some people who lived there how the public transportation was. And basically I got laughed at in my face. There is no public transportation. I mean, there is, but it's not reliable. Apparently it never comes on time. Nobody really uses it. Even the transportation we did have, like, I was with my boyfriend traveling through the middle of the night and our scooter broke down 5 times. Like, that's really frustrating. And then we were taking a sleeper bus from the beach back to Ho Chi Minh, and the sleeper bus also broke down. I'm gonna have to give public transportation definitely to Korea. The next one is bathrooms. I'm not particularly fond of the occasional squatter toilet that I come across in Korea, especially considering how modern Korea really is and tries to portray itself. Sometimes I do find it frustrating and a little gross that I can't flush toilet paper in some places in Seoul. But I'm gonna have to say that Korea was just like potty training compared to Vietnam. In Korea, usually it's like, you know, 1/2 of the restroom is squatter toilets and then the other half is cedar toilets, and you can just either wait for a cedar one to open or just only choose to go into those. So that's okay. And then also toilet paper, usually you'll find toilet paper somewhere in the restroom in Korea. Maybe it's probably outside of the stall. Vietnam is like squatter toilets experience expert level. Where basically finding a regular toilet is like finding a unicorn. It is so rare to find a regular toilet. And flushing that toilet usually involves using a ladle from a bucket of rainwater that's next to your toilet and ladling the water into the toilet to change the pressure. So there's no actual like flusher. The same ladle is used to wash your hands a lot of the time. When it comes to toilets and public restrooms in general, definitely gonna have to give that one to Korea. Hands down, done. Number 4 is going to be cost of living. Now, before I came to Korea, I kept hearing that Korea is much cheaper than America, and I was like, oh, that's great, I'll be able to save like extra money, and there are some parts of living in Korea that are cheaper. For example, taking the subway, way cheaper than me having my own private car in the States. Or taxis are also, the fare is a lot cheaper than in the United States. However, I would definitely not say that Korea is cheap. I would say that living here is actually pretty close, cost of living wise, to what I paid in the United States, especially when it comes to buying groceries. In Vietnam though, it definitely is. For example, in Korea, I know y'all remember my black glasses, my hipster glasses. Yeah, I lost those in Vietnam. I'm not sure how I managed to do that. My boyfriend and I still think that it just vanished into thin air because we really have no idea where they possibly could have gone. But I managed to lose my black glasses, and if y'all remember, those cost me about 50,000 won, which is, I don't know, like $45 or something, to get here in Korea. So we had to go back to Ho Chi Minh and get me a new pair of glasses. So we went in, I told them my prescription, same exact thing that I did in here in Korea, and picked up my frames and everything. These were only $21. Or for example, I wanted to do some shopping, and specifically I wanted to get one of the traditional kind of Vietnamese dress pants kind of outfit. And of course, I'm much taller than the average Vietnamese woman, so I had to get it handmade. So I went to the fabric store, picked out the certain kind of fabric that I wanted, brought it to a seamstress, had her measure me and make the entire outfit for me for $30. Definitely, Vietnam's gonna have to win the cost of living. It's legitimately cheaper than living in the United States, as opposed to Korea, which is kind of semi-cheaper, but not really. There's one last, and it's a pretty hard call, but I think I've made it. The last one is hospitality. In Korea, of course, Korean people are so kind on average to me. Very accommodating, very sweet. Really going out of their way to help me when I, find myself in trouble or things like that. But I would say that if there's one thing that Korea is missing, it's kind of a sense of accepting community that also involves foreigners. For example, I really don't know my neighbors. I really don't even see them that much. So I don't really feel that sense of community for where I live. I think the real issue Korea has is that they're so hardworking and they care so much that a lot of times they don't necessarily have time to just sit down and breathe, with the exception of drinking late at night, which I really feel like is actually still part of work, because a lot of them do that with their work buddies as kind of an after-work requirement almost. In reverse, Vietnam is very laid back and very chill. So, for example, it was, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock at night. My boyfriend, his uncle, and I are driving on 2 separate scooters, and our scooter keeps breaking down. My boyfriend and I, our scooter keeps breaking down over and over and over. We'd already gotten it fixed 2 times. We're driving through like back roads that are in really bad shape. It's not safe. It's nighttime, so it's pitch black outside. There's no street lights along the road. We're driving past rice paddies and small houses, so there's definitely no mechanics nearby. And of course, our bike breaks down for like the 4th time at this point, which is very frustrating. So we're there trying to get it restarted again, and it starts to pour raining on top of it. So we're getting completely soaked. And the other bike that we did have was extremely low on gas. So it was pretty much a bad situation all around. And lo and behold, this like random family that was right nearby took us in, sheltered us, and fixed the bike that wouldn't start. Somehow, magically, this man fixed the bike. And they wouldn't even accept our money as like a thank you. So I had to like walk over to one of his like small daughters and give her the money and for her to take it, because the man like went into the back and wouldn't take our money as a thank you. That was in the countryside, but I also feel like there's a strong sense of community in Ho Chi Minh as well. Like Vietnamese people really pride themselves in taking in other people and being hospitable. It's a huge part of their culture, and it's definitely something that I saw in a fairly universal way from everybody that I met. They really go out of their way to make you feel welcome in a way that almost makes you feel guilty, because they're doing so much for you. I'm gonna have to give the hospitality card to Vietnam as well. So that does push Vietnam into the winning category for this round. But I really loved my time there. I definitely plan on going back as well. And if you guys are interested in seeing any of the other miscellaneous videos that I took, I'm going to upload most of them onto my miscellaneous channel, and link for all those down below, and you guys can watch any of those videos there if you're interested. Alright, so like I said, I still love Korea. It's a fantastic place. Vietnam was also amazing. And I will see y'all next time.